there. I am Cassidy Cash. Welcome to That Shakespeare Life. In Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 2, Falstaff has the line, his wits as thick as Tewksbury mustard. That's in Act 2, Scene 4. This particular mustard developed in a small town of England called Tewksbury, and it was not only popular for Shakespeare's lifetime, but during the 17th century, it was a staple condiment in kitchens of this time period. Amazingly, the mustard not only survived the centuries, but is still being made exactly the same way it was for Shakespeare's lifetime, right in Tewksbury by the Tewksbury Mustard Company. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Tewksbury mustard and how Shakespeare would have eaten it, as well as how you can try this piece of history for yourself at home. Let's get started. So here is my Tewksbury mustard ball. This just came in the mail today from the Tewksbury Mustard Company. Robin Ritchie and Samantha Ramsey were kind enough to send me this mustard ball. I'm going to try and open it for you here. Okay. So it comes wrapped in foil, but when you peel the foil off, isn't it pretty? It's very pretty. The mustard ball is inside, and you'll see it's wrapped in plastic to keep it from going bad. This is made from Severn cider, yellow mustard powder, and horseradish, and it's all mixed together, made into a paste that's then made into a ball. And then this is the mustard ball. And I gotta say, it's a lot pastier than I thought it would be. I thought it would be, dry and compacted. This is actually pretty moist. It's got the same sort of texture as cookie dough or Play-Doh if you're need a non-food reference. I'm going to wrap this back up so it doesn't go bad while I'm sharing with you about it. Now, Severn cider, you heard me mention, that is a popular drink in the UK and France, but it's not as well known here in the US. So let me explain what that means. Severn cider Severn is the place where the brewery is that they make it from. Cider is actually a drink, and it's comparable to beer, though they're not the same thing. Beer is made from different ingredients, but cider is an alcoholic drink made entirely from the juice of fruit. Usually it's made from apples. And we should absolutely do an episode on cider, I think, to explore that further, but that gives you an idea of what that is. So those three ingredients are mixed together into a paste. For these Tewksbury mustard balls, for Shakespeare's lifetime, there wasn't actually a recipe for how to do it written down until the 1830s. There are definitely records like Shakespeare's plays of Tewksbury mustard existing, and we can show that it was a very important condiment. But as far as exactly how to make it, that doesn't get written down explicitly until much later. The only records we do have of how this mustard was made during Shakespeare's lifetime was that you were supposed to pound the mustard into a ball using a cannonball, which is why the Tewksbury Mustard Company actually does use a cannonball for this purpose today, to try and be as authentic to the 16th and 17th century as possible. Now, once it's compiled into a ball, it's wrapped up to keep it from going bad. Shakespeare's lifetime would have probably used something like parchment to wrap theirs. Now, to eat it, you unwrap the ball, cut off a small piece, and then you're going to mix that piece up in a plate with any liquid that you have at the table. This could be water, certainly, but for Shakespeare's lifetime, it probably would have been beer or ale, since that was much more common as a drink than water was. You could also use wine, broth from what you're eating, any kind of liquid that you have there at the table would work. But you mix it with the mustard and you mix it around until it makes a more liquid consistency or kind of a paste. Then you're going to spread this mustard paste onto your bread or onto your meat or whatever you were eating. So we think of mustard as going on bread, but it could have been put on anything for Shakespeare's lifetime. Mustard was actually second only to salt as a table condiment. So it would have been safe to say salt and mustard instead of salt and pepper, because mustard was more common even than pepper on the tables of Shakespeare's lifetime. If you'd like to learn more about the history behind Tewksbury mustard and how this was made, we have a podcast episode where we sat down with the owner and founder of Tewksbury Mustard Company, Robin Ritchie, and we talked with him about how his company was built, how he researched putting together the Tewksbury mustard balls, and how they're making them there today. You can listen to this podcast episode. It's episode 277 of That Shakespeare Life, so you can find it at cassidycash.com/EP277. I'll place a link to that below this episode episode as well, so you can go directly there. If you'd like to purchase your own Tewksbury mustard ball so that you can try this out, I have this listed in that Shakespeare shop where we are in the process of compiling a lot of little history pieces like this, where you can try out a piece of Shakespeare's life for yourself. And we're putting that whole collection on our website at castacash.com/shop. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Tewksbury mustard ball and how to eat a mustard stored in a ball for yourself at home. Come back next week for even more Shakespeare history. I'm Cassidy Cash, and I hope you learned something new about the Bard. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.